Hello, guys. Okay, this is Melenta Benson's channel. Let's have some engaging discussions about a few issues that are affecting us as Kenyans and as well as affecting us as youths. There's a growing culture in this country that the youths are inferior compared to the elderly. So youths have the same capacity and ability to perform just as the elderly can do. The only thing that lacks or that differentiates between the two people is the fact that the elderly most of the times have resources and they can always pay things using these resources, but the youth do not have adequate resources for them to be able to make uh, significant impacts in our societies. So as the youths, we need to realize the fact that whenever we wake up every other day, every morning, we wake up maybe with plans or without plans, and then we let the river decide, or the coast decide for us what we're gonna do for the day. We become too much dependent on what the society or what the environment provides to us, that we've forgotten that we have talents and inner abilities and capabilities that we can transform and be able to provide for ourselves. This is particularly targeting particularly to a few guys or few people that I've observed during elections. These youths. They are being used as tools, and then for after elections come to an end, then they are thrown away. So they just follow leaders or these politicians because I've not seen. There are only a very few leaders in this country, but we've got very many politicians. So what the youth does, the youth follow these people like stray dogs. These politicians like stray dogs, and then hoping to be for the scrams to be thrown on their way. So they keep on collecting day. So they wake up every day and then follow these politicians and then expect by evening something will be thrown on their way, which are actually leftovers and scraps after the main meal. So this is very saddening because as a youth, someone should wake up very early in the morning or any time in the morning and then have plans for the day, not plans to follow politicians, but plan to be productive by themselves, to use the energy they've been given and produce and provide also for their families and their society. I'm not condemning that following lead on politicians is bad, but I'm condemning the fact that following politicians for grants and for few scrums is good. That's very bad because it does not add anything, but it creates a culture because a very negative culture where you become dependent, and then when the election period comes to an end, then you kind of are put or thrown into depression because the same leader that you were vehemently and very strongly and intensely fighting for then abandons you and then no longer even remembers your name and whatever other reasons they may have not to consider you after they've been elected. So this is a wake-up call as youths. Let us consider the fact that this country needs us. This country is bigger than an individual politician. So, and every other day that comes, they don't perform. We are always tend to be pulled behind in terms of developments and in terms of meeting our goals. So it is up to us this election period to avoid this behavior, to avoid following politicians for grants. If you want to provide support for a politician, then provide genuine support without expecting anything in return. Then ensure after you've been elected, after the person have been elected, leave them alone. Don't disturb them. Let them think if unconditionally. Let them provide let them think that this person helped me during the election period, so let me consider them in one way or another one. But this problem of fighting campaigning for a politician in expectation or expecting something in return can create an avenue or can be a media for you to go deep into depression and you feel isolated after elections because then you start lamenting the same person for 3 years or 4 years. You keep on talking shit about that person, but you forgot that you are at the front line of that person being a campaign, election campaign. So ensure that vote wisely. So ensure this time round, follow a person or campaign for somebody, but unconditionally, without expectations, and do not let that campaigning for a politician compromise your other activities that you can be doing to maybe provide for yourself or earn a living. So that is point number one. So let us also discuss about a few ideas about what the youths can do. So we have two categories of youths in this country, or three, or rather, we have three categories of youths in the country. We have the youths who are employed, we have the youths who are unemployed, and then we have the youths who are entrepreneurs. So these three categories uh, have clear distinctions on what goals they have. Uh, in most cases, we have the unemployed youths. They are always idling, doing nothing, and that increases their chance or the propensity for them to enter into criminal activities. And then we have the employed youths. These are youths now who are already in employment and then living comfortable, or can be termed as the middle class. These people are living a stress-free life currently, although the levels of stress could be determined by what a person is earning and actually their lifestyle and so many other factors. And then we have these entrepreneurs. These are the youths who wake up every morning with the goals that they have to meet by the end of the evening. So entrepreneurs, youths who are entrepreneurs are the backbone of this country, because these are the people who are thinking and will propel this country into its future. If they wake up every other morning and then they go to their hustle, they expect that by evening they will have met this margin of profit, or these targets could have been met, and that repeats itself daily. So for these kind of youths, you will very unlikely see them following politicians, and the employed will follow politicians, but occasionally. But the unemployed are always behind politicians. So every time a politician organizes a meeting, they are there. Every time politicians move from this point to another, they are always behind them. And then you'll never beat them in any discussions regarding politics, because they are always very informed about politics. And when the election periods this comes to an end, then they are left wondering, what happened to me? Why am I always lagging behind? So let us vote wisely. Let us go to the ballot box and vote a leader and not a politician. Vote a person because of what they can do, but don't vote a person because they are related to you. Don't vote a person because they come from your clan. Don't vote a person because they've given you 100 shillings or 100,000, 100 shillings or 1,000 shillings. Don't vote a person because they are popular, and don't vote a person because they look smart. Vote a person because of how many opportunities he or she can provide to his members or their members, in terms of employment, business opportunities, healthcare, education, and so forth. Vote a person because of the ambitions and the the compassion and the willingness to be able to provide better standards of living to his constituents and to his people. Vote a person because deep from their heart, they know the problems that you're suffering from. They know the problems that you've been experiencing all along in the last 5, 10 years, and so forth. So vote that person who can solve not your individual problem, but vote a person who can solve collective problems in the society. Remember, whenever a problem is solved, generally that is from at the society level, then be sure that the life or the standards of living of the people go up, and the standards of living standards of living of people go up, then there's good money circulation, and everyone always appreciate the fact that they have money in their pockets. But when you vote a leader because they've given you 100 shillings, or because they've given you 1,000 shillings, then be sure that that leader has just solved a single problem at a point in time, that moment. So when you finish that 1,000, your problems will recur, will come back again. So, and you'll not have the gut to continue going to the same leader and asking for 1,000 each and every time, because they'll get tired of you, and then they'll no longer give you anything. So let us vote diligently. Let us vote. Let us vote a person who can solve the collective issues that are affecting the society and the community and the constituents at large. Don't vote any person who solves individual problems, clan-based problems, or problems that are centric to a particular population or centric to particular individuals in specific. So that in that way we'll be able to have a country that is growing upwards, down from the world level up to the country level. So that is all I have to discuss with you today. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel